Hey everybody, it's Dave Dugdale, learningdslrvideo.com. I just want to do a quick test. Chad Johnson has an awesome YouTube channel, especially when it comes to microphones. He's reviewed a lot of these. He's reviewed it against a lot of different ones. What I'm going to be reviewing is these three. This is the Sennheiser ME2, which is very popular. This PinMic right in the middle, which you're listening to right now. And on this side right here is the Rode Lav. And we're going to switch between the two of them, or three of them. And you can just hear for yourself. I'm not going to put any EQ on them. And as I'm talking, as we're testing, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about each microphone. So right here, this is kind of your bass, is the PinMic in the middle. All right, next up we've moved over to the Sennheiser. And the Sennheiser is the ME2, which comes with the wireless system. And you'll probably notice right off the bat, at least on my voice, you're going to hear it a little bit, is the low end sounds kind of the same, but there's that sibilance that Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Sounds a bit more brittle. It's the best way I can describe it, maybe distorted. Especially in a female voice, it can knock your head off, and you'll have to grab the de-esser and bring it down like 20 dB, because it's just that pervasive in that frequency range. All right, this is the Rode Lav. The Rode Lav and the PinMic, I believe, are the same price. I'll have to double check on that, and I'll put it below me right here. But I'm pretty sure they're around the $250 range. And it should sound very different because we just went from the Sennheiser back to the Rode. And if I say Sister Sally sells, she sells by the seashore, it should sound very close to what the PinMic sounded like, but not the Sennheiser. Should maybe not sound duller, but I would almost rather have it a little bit duller because I can always sweeten up the, around 3K or so, add an octave wide filter and just boost it maybe 2 or 3 dB. Around that frequency range, and shouldn't have any problems. Now, I will say with the Sennheiser, one of the advantages, if you wanted to hide it under a piece of like clothing, like a t-shirt or something like that, it's already got so much frequency, higher frequencies, it's gonna, the audio is gonna transmit through the clothes better, basically. You'll be able to, instead of it sounding very muffled from the shirt, it's going to, you could re-EQ it later to make it work. All right, now we're back to the Sennheiser. So I'll say Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Another thing I want to note about this one is the Sennheiser has a much longer cord, which I've always found to be kind of a pain in the butt because I'll have to coil it up and stick it in my pocket when I'm out like working on something by myself. Like I got to go out tomorrow. I'm doing some more scenes or another chapter for my 5D Mark III course that should be done around Thanksgiving time. I hope it'll be done for like the holiday season. And I'll probably have some sort of Black Friday deal for all my courses on my website as well. One of the things I want to talk about next really quick is the connectors that come with it. This is the Micon 5. Actually, no, it does not come with it. I made that mistake. This connector and this connector, which are kind of pricey, don't come with the actual microphone. Don't know why. They should order it as a kit. So don't get fooled like I did. So basically what you do with these, this is the Micon 1, which works with the Sennheiser. Although, it's got this little thing that rotates, just like the Sennheiser. Here, let me show you. Hopefully I'm not rattling the cords around too much. But as you can see, this one screws into the actual receiver. No, transmitter, sorry. And this one rotates too, but this one rotates and actually grabs the threads, but this one doesn't have anything. I don't know why it rotates. So that's kind of odd. Anyway, so you can change this out from this type of connector to this type of connector, which is kind of awesome. One of the things I did this whole review using the Tascam DR60, and I threw it out and I decided to do it differently because 90% of the time I am pretty much not doing dual sig sound, and I'm not using the DR60, and so you can just connect it like that. So what I'm doing right now is that the receiver, which is actually, I could show you, is right here, and there's a long cord going all the way to my 5D Mark III, which is plugged into. So now I've switched to the Rode Lav over on this side. So this connector, one of them came bad. It had this kind of phantom power type of noise, so when you lightly touch it, there must be a short or something between the 3 pins. And you probably can't see this, but one of the pins actually on this good one is actually sticking out too far. So they got some quality control issues on that, and I can't push it back in. Sometimes you can. So yeah, one thing, I used to work on a cruise ship when I got out of college, traveled all over the world. Yeah, that's me on the right-hand side with the blue and white shirt. Yeah, my hair used to be that color. So one of the problems is if you have this type of connector, this is pretty easy to fix because you can pretty much buy another one from even like Radio Shack if you had to, and you could resolder it. And back when on the cruise ship, I had to do that. Back then they were LEMO connectors. This is actually probably a much easier one to solder. Yeah, this is definitely easier to solder than a LEMO. I haven't had to do a LEMO in decades, soldering it up. But in terms of this type of connector, this is kind of a neat concept, being able to switch back and forth. But all right, let's say I'm out in the middle of the ocean somewhere and I've run out of my backups of microphones, and something goes wrong inside this part of the connector. How am I going to fix it? I don't know. No idea. So now we're back to the Sennheiser microphone. I'm definitely going to keep the Sennheiser because there's going to be some instances where I might have to hide it under clothes, or if I have the PinMic and I don't want to put it through somebody's nice blouse, because I guess maybe the thread count on a silk blouse would be higher and it would leave permanent holes in their silk blouse or something. I'll definitely keep the ME2, this one that we're listening to right now. But to be honest, I think I'll use the one in the middle, the PinMic, the most because you can hide it easy. And another reason is if you put this microphone up here near my throat, here, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, this is the Rode Lav by my throat, and it gives it much more of a throaty sound. You know, you can hear that kind of blah, 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 blah kind of sound. And it might be, you know, especially if you're wearing a t-shirt, it's kind of tough because pretty much it's the only place you can put it. I mean, you could put it kind of in the middle of the shirt, but the cord's gonna be dangling, or it's gonna be going up from your shirt and down through. Just a mess. But if I use the PinMic, which we're listening to right now, I can get it in the optimal place. I don't really like, at least on my voice, I don't like it up here because I have to re-EQ it. Where down here, it sounds pretty good. Another test I want to show you is really quick, just what it sounds like off axis. So I'm going to turn my head this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. In my earlier test, I don't know if you'll hear it now, but when I go over here, it almost sounded like, for some odd reason, that this had more high frequencies. So if I say Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore, and Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Now you might be thinking, you know, the Rode Lav is pointing straight up and the PinMic is pointing straight out. The PinMic, they're exactly the same. Doesn't matter which way you orient them because they create a omnidirectional sphere. Think of it this way, kind of thing. But I was kind of surprised when I turned my head this way that I could actually hear more high frequency. All right, now this is the Rode Lav, and I'll run the same experiment. So I'm talking right towards the camera, and then I'll talk off camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore, and Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore. So now we've gone back to the PinMic. Well, I want to thank Chad Johnson for his videos that he's done on all the reviews, and I will link to them in my blog post if I didn't annotate them already in this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're on Vimeo, sorry, no annotations there. So what I want to leave you with, and I'll give you a warning, you'll probably be singing this catchy little song that Chad made after you watch this video, but it's a lot of fun. He let me use it out here on my channel, so definitely check it out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Sometimes you've got to hide a mic, hide it in plain sight. Lavaliers, sometimes they just ain't right. That's when you need a PinMic.